Henry the Green Engine loves his forest. He loves all the animals, fresh air, and trees that reside there. His two personal favorite trees are the wishing tree and the tall pine tree. He recounts many times he saved the forest from certain destruction, such as when the wishing tree was struck by lightning and the windy storm. But despite the tragedies in the past, he saved the forest no matter what. Darius, otherwise known by his legal name Denmark, is a logging truck who works at the lumber mill near the forest. He is good friends with Henry and loves the forest too. I think the forest is a very peaceful landmark here on the island, he will often say to Henry. I know that, smiles Henry. I always remember that time I, wished to pull the express. One day, Henry was traveling very slowly across the line. He had gotten an early start and was wheezing very hard. Oh, how my wheels are stiff, he moaned. Just do your best, advised his driver. Henry gave one last mighty effort, but then there was trouble. He thought his firebox would blow up for a second, but then he thought he could smell a slight burn. Are you spoiling my fire again? He asked his fireman. Don't be silly, Henry, laughed the fireman. Then, Henry saw some huge flames. Fizzling fireboxes! He shouted suddenly. There's fire! His driver carefully ran to the nearest signal box to phone any fire brigades. Later, Bell and Flynn soon put the fire out. Henry was very, very disappointed. A tear nearly came out of his right eye. He knew what this meant, the end of his forest. Even his two favorite trees, the wishing tree and tall pine tree, were now completely black as soot. He started. I know, it's gone. I'm sorry that you lost the forest again, and especially your two favorite trees, sympathized Denmark quietly. Later that night, he stayed quiet. The other engines tried to talk to him, but couldn't cheer him up. They felt his sympathy, too. Not all things can be saved, you know, said Edward. I know, said Henry quietly, but I wanna at least try to save it one more time before it's too late. This gave Percy an idea. He spoke to his crew next morning. He went to the forest and was shocked to see some very cunning people there. They were smoking, polluting, and torturing the forest. No, said a deep voice. I want them all to go here! Percy hid behind the trees. Oh, what was left of them? Driver, he whispered, can you record this conversation on your smartphone? I think something suspicious is going on here. What's that? Said the deep voice. Who's there? Boss, said another voice. I think nobody's there. Your ears are probably playing tricks on you again. Silence, Spud! Shouted the deep voice. Ever since the forest was destroyed, I wanted this place to myself for a big shopping mall on this small island. But Mr. Skell, said Spud, don't you care for everything here in this deserted forest? No, I don't! Yelled Mr. Skell. All I care is for money, baby! Oh, yeah! I can get away with this unauthorized business! Soon, the conversation was finished. I can't believe that greedy businessman would want to build a crazy shopping mall over that forest. He certainly needs permission, considering he doesn't even have a license to build anything in that area, agreed Percy's fireman. We could have Henry, Toby, and Denmark listen to this conversation, and then they could convince Mr. Skell and Spud not to build the mall in the forest area, explained Percy. He found them in the shunting yards talking to each other. Guys, he called, you have to listen to this.
All I care is for money, baby! Oh yeah! I can get away with this unauthorized business as long as nobody comes back crying for this so-called peaceful environment!
We can't let some greedy man kill the forest for some pointless mall in Sodor, cried Denmark. There's already a mall on the mainland, and I think that's the closest one. We have to go to the forest right now, decided Toby. And so the four friends hurried off. They soon arrived. Excuse me, Mr. Skell, said Henry, but we think that the idea of a shopping mall here in the middle of my forest is a totally boneheaded plan. There are some small species of critters that need a home here. Oh, so a big talking steam train is gonna come back to cry for the loss of his forest, huh? Well, too bad, so sad. Spud, lead these four environmentalists out of here! Yes, sir, replied Spud tiredly. It's no use, whimpered Henry. We'll never save the forest from development at this point. Denmark had an idea. For the remainder of the day, he, Toby, and Percy went to almost every station and spread the word to save the forest. The next day, Sir Topham Hatt had heard the word, and he hurried to the forest to speak to Mr. Skell. Sorry, fat man, laughed Mr. Skell. The forest is mine! And he grabbed the chainsaw and tried cutting down what was once the tall pine tree. Everyone gasped. Even Henry, who just arrived, was mortified. I can't watch! Wait! Shouted a voice from the bush. Everyone looked, and even Mr. Skell stopped what he was doing. Then, out of the bush came a flash of green. It was Wayne the Jungle Jeep! Hey, Percy, did your driver record the conversation between Mr. What's-his-name and Spit? It's Mr. Skell! Yeah, whatever, said Wayne, ignoring him. Yes, Wayne, he did, answered Percy. I asked him to. And his driver pulled out the smartphone, revealing the conversation.
All I care is for money, baby! Oh yeah! I can get away with this unauthorized business as long as nobody comes back crying for this so-called peaceful environment! What? No! He didn't even take a video of what I was doing! Impossible, people! What do you want, a stupid forest or a shopping mall? He doesn't even have any schemes on video! Au contraire, Mr. Schniz, said Wayne. My driver happened to record a video of what you were doing. Well, well, Mr. Skell, said Sir Topham Hatt sternly. Looks like some greedy businessman here has caused confusion and delay. Soon the policemen came and arrested Mr. Skell. You're under arrest, Simon Skell, announced the head cop, for polluting animal abuse, smoking, and illegally planning to build an unauthorized mall here in the wilderness. As for Spud, he was off the hook because Skell had made him help his devious scheme. Damn it! Cursed Mr. Skell. I wouldn't have gotten away with it too if it weren't for this smelling green fireplace on square wheels, the wooden box, the jungle jerk, the green caterpillar with red stripes, and the logging loser! Tell it to the judge, you insulting idiot, remarked Denmark.
Soon everyone was pitching in to clear up the forest. "Well done, Denmark," huffed Henry happily. "You helped me save the forest from development." "It's the least I could do," said Denmark. "Same with Percy. You heard the nasty conversation in the first place. You should thank him too." "Look here, Henry," called Terence and Trevor, who were helping out. "We're beginning again." Toby arrived with some young trees. 2 of them looked like baby versions of the wishing tree and tall pine tree. Henry couldn't have been happier. His forest was now a protected wilderness, and back to the peaceful environment it was once again.